Thumbs up, thumbs up. So a quick question, because I know we've got cups of tea and cakes waiting outside. But as I've said earlier, accommodation is going to be part of our lives sometime. So if there are any questions from the panel that you'd like to direct to the panel, that's things you may have learned or clarified. If you're not in the mood, if you just want to go, we've also got our Facebook. Valad's very involved in social media, Facebook, Twitter, and our website coming soon. So that's another way for you to put up questions. So any burning questions you'd like to put to the panel? We've got one down there. Yes, please.
We've got a roving mic. So
no roving mic? We've got a roving mic.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Please introduce yourself and question.
My name's Peggy. I have a daughter with a disability, and I'm very interested to hear about Michael and Marion's journey, because we're probably going to be going through it in the next year or so. I've been trying to find out quite a bit about the special disability accommodation funding, and I was interested to know whether, given all the hurdles that you've had, that you weren't advised by your planner that you may be eligible for some SDA, and why that didn't happen.
Hang on.
A bit closer.
I think if Kate moves into this flat, the SDA funding will automatically come. That'll be part of her new plan. She already has some SDA funding for where she lives now, because she's in a shared, so that sort of transfers and subsidises her rent, really. Yeah. It goes to the Housing Choices is a not-for-profit social housing group, and I think this is probably their first project under NDIS, and so they've been very interested in how it all goes. They may or may not do another one, depending on whether the flats were ready for people to move in beginning of October. Just before Christmas, they still only had 5 of the 8. Don't know. It's been a fraught process. And I think where the problems come is it's not clear, you in the community, what's required in the plan. And I know you get some support for support planners, but they're not clear either at the moment on just what's needed first up.
Sure.
We were also questioned. Kate went into NDIS in the pilot, was fantastic, but at that point she never said, I want to live in a flat on my own. I mean, it wasn't possible. And it was just the beginning, and we were told then, just put down what you want now, you can change your goals at any time. We were actually questioned in that meeting that was then said, they weren't going to go on with it, that first one. She never had that she wanted to live in a flat on her own, but luckily she wanted to be as independent as possible and safe in her housing or something. She had something like that down. Well, any person in their life, if they're presented with an opportunity, might change their goals. Sure. And I thought that was very unfair of NDIA to say that. Yeah. But I think you just keep going. You just don't take no for an answer. Yeah. It's not right. Read the Act, read the NDIS Act, and just keep going. That's all you can do.
Yes, I completely understand. I suppose I've got a bit of a comment to make to the NDIA person, is that I've been looking at the SDA. It's very, very complex. As a parent, the document that was put out is actually aimed at providers, and I've only in recent months been able to work out that the SDA is actually for parents who actually have to become SDA themselves in order to purchase accommodation, and that is a very, very complex process for parents to get their head around, and the tables and what you're eligible for. The other thing as well I did want to say was that I think Martin Foley did a good presentation, but my feelings are that it's going to take many years for the housing sector to be developed, but I think also the Victorian government need to incentivise and mandate local government to basically insist that developers salt and pepper their new developments with disability supported accommodation. I'd like to know how that's going to happen. Because essentially it's not happening, and it's going to take a long, long time. And I hate to be a prophet of doom, but it's really not happening. And for my daughter and for anyone who's looking to move their adult child out of their home, it's going to take many years before the sort of accommodation that we want for our children is going to actually exist. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peggy. Just very quickly, John, but there's a couple of issues there, a really good feedback about the complexity of the material for families. We will absolutely work on that. I think the other thing in particular that I want to change is the nature of the service agreement that we're recommending. That's really messy and hard to understand legal obligations as well, so we'll try and get a much easier version of that. I think though that we have had a lot of interest, so I absolutely understand the scepticism, and it's a worry behind at the back of our head, but we have had a lot of interest given the new SDA arrangements. They are reasonably financially attractive for the big investment end of town, and the rule though is still not signed off by a couple of governments. So when that goes through, I reckon we will start to see a lot more investment. So take your point, we can't influence the Victorian government and local councils and all of that, but it is now at least a more attractive option than we ever had before for new build.
Sorry, could I just make a comment to Penny? Is it Peggy?
Peggy.
I'm a parent, so this was all very new to me, and I had to read everything in the SDA and everything, and I obviously worked with Coringal to help me through things, and I did find the paperwork complex, but one thing as a parent you need to do if you're going to provide accommodation is to become an NDIA provider. And there's a very clear toolkit of about 14 modules that you need to work through, and that tells you all the things that you're going to need to comply with. So I thought it was quite well laid out, but I engaged a bookkeeper to help me with it, because you obviously have to pull a lot of information in. You want to know that you're going to have the correct insurances, that you're following the correct policies and so forth. So because I'm just a parent, I really did engage a bookkeeper to go through that with me to let me know what I had to do so that I could sign off on those modules that are quite clear. So although it is complex, there are people out there that can help you. Yeah.
Very passionate topic. I've got getting a big wind up from the boss out the back, but I will take one, possibly two more questions. Lady in the light green t-shirt, I think? No? Okay, yes, one there. Two last questions.
My name's Erica and I'm from Sydney. I just want a quick question for Keith. The Belmont place, for people in Sydney, we don't know where that is.
Oh, okay. Sorry, is that on? The Belmont is, that's working? Yes, Belmont is a suburb of Geelong, to the south of here, just over the river, okay? So it's close to, there is a Belmont in New South Wales, but it's a different Belmont.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Okay, last question down the back. Lady in the green t-shirt.
My wife's a girl from New South Wales.
I am Eve. I do think we need a lot more education around and well and truly go with the NDA and look around at different states. I wonder why that is not happening, because I enjoyed listening to Western Australia yesterday and what they had done with their providers in government and how they organise their people who are in their wheelchairs and how they live their normal lives and how they want to. I was just saying, why can't we look at different suburbs at NDA, NDIA and other organisations? I have also talked to Reinforce and that the fact that they are looking and doing a lot more networking. I just wondered why that couldn't be possible with accommodation with everything, that people can really live their lives the way they really want to.
I'm going to take that. As you're asking that question, everybody's going, yep, 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 which means it's a huge question. So I'm going to just take that as a statement because it is so big to unpack. And I'm getting the wind up for the boss. Thank you for the question. I would like to thank our panellists for your efforts today. It's been an exciting event, and thank you very much. I'm going to hand over to John, who will take over.
And we'd like to thank John and all the panellists. So thank you very much.
Can I?